3, 2, 1. Gentani! How's my Italian, Ralph? That's like as soon as I heard that in the Godfather, I was like, damn, I have a new way to say cheers.
Bada bing.
Is that the actual just definition? Is just cheers, or is it some other? Is there more to it?
Yeah, that's fine. Cheers.
Okay,
yeah, that works.
I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks.
I'm Ralph from Music Outside of Ralph Movie.
Mm.
And I'm Alex from IHE. And I'm ill, everybody.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's sick.
I think I've got it, guys.
It.
Yeah. I'm sick. Yeah, it. Am I allowed to say it? Yeah.
I guess
God,
so.
how do you even broach this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
I've got no way to test for certain, but it's definitely respiratory, whatever it is. And it seems like a huge coincidence to have the symptoms that I do.
Yeah, this is not a bit, everybody. This is, we were talking about this before we started recording.
I wouldn't joke about this.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. I can definitely see why it is causing the problems we are currently in, because it is horrendous. And I'm pretty sure if I do have it, it is only a mild version, luckily, because I am only 26, so I'm looking pretty good at the moment. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And so you've had symptoms for like about a week or whatever, right?
Yeah, it would be a week tomorrow. Because at first I thought a couple of days passed and it was seemingly kind of going away. And I thought, yeah, for most people, it kind of sticks around for at least 2 weeks before, you get some reprieve. But I have all the symptoms still. Well, some of the symptoms. So I got to apologize for my voice sometimes. And one of the more annoying things I'm experiencing is this really strange kind of dizziness or fatigue or...
Yeah.
I've been describing it like I'm just constantly a bit drunk. So if I say anything stupid, I apologize.
All right. And by the way, everybody, we're not forcing him to record this. We were like, hey, you can take a break if you want. And he's insisting that we keep
No,
doing
it's
the
fine.
podcast,
Well,
so.
I can sit here and talk about The Godfather for a couple hours. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not that extreme.
How you feeling, Ralph?
I'm fine, yeah. Compared to Alex, I'm doing great.
Okay, rub it in. That's fine.
Have you seen any movies? There's no movie news or anything, so we should just talk about The Godfather.
I
But
mean,
if there's anything you guys have seen.
I've caught a couple Netflix things, but I mean, I'm not going to talk about them by myself if you guys haven't seen them. I saw Tiger King. I saw Beastars. I saw The Platform, but I don't know. I'll have like a quickie of those things out in a couple days anyway. Did you watch any of those?
No. I watched Turnt. I watched a movie called Turnt.
Turnt.
Which was really bad.
Oh.
Yeah, that was on Netflix or anything.
How was that?
But my brother said like The Platform was like the next big movie and everyone's watching it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And it's like the metaphor was really on the nose. I'm like, yeah I don't want to watch that crap. I'll watch Turnt instead. It
was way too obvious and way too preachy, and the filming style kind of reminded me of like Cube in terms of like filming concept. Take a room and then pretend it's many rooms or whatever. But yeah, it was just kind of dumb. It wasn't good,
it's
and
Spanish
nobody likes
though,
the
right?
ending. Yeah, it's weird. That's what's really weird about it is like every once in a while there'll be this like big foreign horror movie, and I'll be like, man, there's so many better foreign movies out there. Like, and this is the one that everybody's seen right now. It's so strange.
You think it gets a pass because it is foreign?
And it's a horror movie. I think that's more the pass. I think people have low expectations.
Yeah, I think it's the horror movie more than anything. I think that's the aspect. And it also pretends to be a lot smarter than it is. So...
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's people that might gravitate towards that. But not trying to throw shade. It's okay if you like it. I did not. And even the people that love it don't like the ending. I don't know. The ending was bad. It wasn't like bad compared to the rest of the movie. It was just bad.
In line, yeah.
All right. I guess Godfather. Unless you want to describe what Turnt was, because I don't really know anything about it.
No.
Yeah, what's Turnt? No, you got to say. You can't just bring it up and not say.
It's Turnt? A movie. Well, I watched it just because of the title, and it had $1 million budget. And yeah, it's like it's really cheap, really bad movie about like a rapper who's making an album called Turn. He gets shot on the street.
Oh,
and like some guy tries to avenge him. It's dumb,
okay.
but it had a cool title.
Was it like on a streaming website?
It was on Amazon Prime. That's
Oh,
where I found it for
okay.
free. And so like I didn't want to judge it too harshly.
I heard that South by Southwest is like doing their film festival online through like Amazon Prime or something. But it's only for people in the US, so
okay.
Oh,
I don't know if
really?
that's happened already, but you
Oh,
should check
great.
it out.
Yeah.
I've never
That's
gone to
awesome.
South by Southwest. Oh shit. I guess it might have already happened. Oops. No, it says postponed. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Look it up. Cuz it might there might be something like that.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was canceled.
But there's
and
so
then
many
they said they might
movies
do
I
things
see.
online.
Like Love on a Leash too. Like that was on Amazon Prime. Like
Oh.
a lot of people just put like whatever movies on there that
Yeah.
are really weird, and I
can
like
just
checking them out.
Dump whatever you want
You
on
find
there.
some gems.
I've definitely curated a watch list of things that look terrible on Amazon Prime. I haven't done much watching on Amazon Prime, but I've definitely curated a watch list of things that I might
Yeah.
check out in the
Yeah.
future.
I found like a whole series of like Roblox machinimas on Amazon Prime.
Really?
It's like just all sorts on there. Yeah, like just anything is on there.
Streaming's
It's
the
cool.
future.
Yeah, man.
And then you have the Amazon produced shows, which are like hundreds of millions of dollars, and they get like
Yeah.
big stars.
Yeah, and Oscars.
And you have that next to Love on a Leash.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Banned from IMDb. All right. You want to introduce the film, Ralph? It was your recommendation.
No, it was Alex's.
Yeah, it was
recommendation.
Oh,
mine.
yeah, it was.
Surprisingly.
Oops.
Wow. What? Because I'm Italian. I
Yeah, that's
recommended it.
I forgot.
It's a great movie, though.
Yeah.
Alex, go ahead. Unless
Yeah,
you want
so
me to
I-
say it.
Well, why don't we take one each, seeing as there is a trilogy and we're doing the whole
All right.
trilogy.
Sure.
So I'll do the
Okay,
first
great.
one.
I can
I'll
see
do
where
the
this is
second
going.
Yeah, so let's start with The Godfather, 1972 movie directed by Francis Ford Coppola. How do you say it? Coppola?
I think it's
Coppola?
Coppola.
Coppola.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think.
based on the
Coppola.
the novel of the same name written by Mario Puzo. Is that right? How you say that? I don't want to upset anyone.
Blame the COVID.
Which apparently, yeah, okay. Yeah, apparently it's so similar to the novel that Francis felt that putting him, Mario Puzo, saying, what does it say at the beginning? Mario Puzo's the Godfather, because it is so similar to the novel as like a respect thing. But yeah, it's, what is it? It's ranked like the second greatest and most influential film of all time or something in the
So yeah, it's number 2 on the top.
American Film Institute.
250 on IMDb also.
Yeah,
right
on every
behind
ranking thing like that. Yeah, and what is it? It's just behind Citizen Kane on the American Film Institute.
Okay.
It's a lot of people might know it because of. I didn't realize there were so many references in The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, loads of references to The Godfather.
There's a
It's
Godfather
very
reference
quotable.
in Zootopia.
Really, remind me. It's been a while since I've seen Zootopia.
I think before they go up to like a possum or something, and he's like literally just doing the Don Corleone
yeah,
accent.
he's doing like an
"You come to
impression
me
of
on my daughter's
yeah.
birthday, wedding or whatever. Yeah,
Damn, my daughter's
God, I'd
right.
forgotten about that. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was funny.
Marlon Brando.
That actually made me laugh in Zootopia. There's like iconic lines in this, so
Yeah, it's
It's
very
very
quotable.
quotable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
leave the gun,
exactly.
take the cannoli.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's ubiquitous. It's one of those kind of movies where everyone knows it. It's difficult where you sit down to watch it because it is just so famous. It is so highly rated too. There's
it's
almost like a
epic.
pressure.
This is
It is
actually
epic.
epic. It has every Italian-American actor of the time, basically, in the trilogy at some point. De Niro and Al Pacino. And Marlon.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It has from my understanding, a pretty interesting kind of behind-the-scenes drama too.
Oh yeah.
With how it got
The mob
made.
was involved, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely know more than me, Ralph, because this is only my second time seeing it. The first time I watched it, I must have been 17, and I didn't really get it back then, but I really enjoyed it this time, because I've kind of been on like a mafia movie binge at the moment. I just watched all of The Sopranos, the whole
So you
Godfather
watched
trilogy.
Goodfellas?
Yeah, I watched Goodfellas again.
Madagascar.
Yeah, Madagascar Trilogy, all of it. Yeah, I do have a good kind of starting off point for this movie on that note of how just kind of famous and highly rated it is, with a question from someone from the Reddit.
Okay.
Called Kevin Spacey's Garage. I didn't see that name before. Do you think films like The Godfather maintain a title of the greatest film of all time, more because of how influential they are or how well they hold up, considering the fact that many people will consider mob films that came out after it, like Goodfellas, Casino, Gotti, and The Irishman, to be vastly superior? Do you think it should keep that reputation based on influence alone?
Yeah, the Gotti's a joke.
Yeah.
Well, a movie like Goodfellas, I love it because it portrays the gangsters as more of like sociopaths and kind of cowardly, how they really were, coked up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this, like The Godfather, these movies were basically, at least the first one, was backed by the mob. Like, the producers were threatened by the mob, and they couldn't mention mafia in the movie. They call it family and stuff. They can't say the word mafia in the first one.
That's crazy.
And you notice they don't. Yeah, they change a line. I forgot. Like, he insults someone and calls him like a guinea wop mafioso, and they change the line to something else in the final movie.
I had no idea.
They just didn't want any involvement. Yeah, and it makes sense. They didn't want publicity. They're the mafia. So it was scary.
Yeah.
Of course, that went away over time.
That would be a really
But
intimidating
the movie's like infamous
project.
for that. And also, because they worked with the mafia, they had a lot of authentic locations, and they got to shoot wherever they wanted within Little Italy and all these areas that they actually operated in. So it added a level of authenticity that made the movie what it is, made it so great.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and on top of all that, there was a lot of drama with the studio not really trusting Coppola.
They didn't give him any money either. Very little money.
And they didn't trust his decisions, and I was reading that Francis was... he was almost acting like a godfather, being the director and like firing people and like basically having to fight to get the film made in the way he wanted it to be made. And clearly it paid off in the end with how it came together.
Yeah, he made them an offer they couldn't refuse.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess to kind of answer that question, I think that having influence does play a major role in terms of how well a film is received, you know, in like a test of time sort of thing. If a movie isn't starting something, if it isn't doing something new, or at least setting a new trend, or setting a trend that becomes widely popular and leaving a lot of influence as it goes, if it's not doing that, chances are it's not going to be considered one of the great classics or anything. You could have like better versions of Die Hard, but there's a reason why Die Hard is so well remembered. It's because it started a trend.
Honestly, I'm not really sure if many people do consider, you know, Casino, The Irishman to be better than The Godfather. The debate that I've heard normally is between Goodfellas and Godfather, but I don't think you'd have Goodfellas without Godfather. So just on that alone.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And also, I think it really does. I think it is as good as they say. I was really impressed with the epic scale of it, and it's a long movie. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
The second one's 3 hours and 20 minutes. So
yeah, and
crazy.
Whereas in the second and third, I kind of noticed that a bit more. But I thought the first movie was really well paced, and I really liked the kind of scene construction and the excitement and tension of it all. I think it is very well made and holds up really well.
To me, it felt kind of like it was two movies in one, and not criticizing the length or anything, but pacing-wise, it was like, it felt like there was a clear end of the first half and then beginning to the second half sort of thing, where like realistically it could have been like a part one and part two sort of film. Like it could have been two different things, and it would have been like, okay, this makes sense. I'm glad it wasn't. Like it works just fine as one whole movie. But yeah, pacing wise, it seemed like it was two films basically.
yeah, it's like an A plot and a B plot that carries over into all of them. I love the length of it. There's the opening wedding scene that goes on for a long time. It took like a week to shoot, and there's like 700 extras. That was epic. That's like truly epic to me, not Aquaman.
That scene was one where when I watched this movie younger version of myself watched this movie, I really didn't get much out of it at all. But watching it, last week, I got a lot more out of it just in terms of like tone and like character development. There were a lot of like interesting character moments within that scene. And it was like, okay, I get what you're setting up here. I get the ideas and the overall atmosphere being set up. And just that alone was able to get me into the movie in that sense. Whereas like, I don't know how old I was when I first watched this movie. I think it was probably like 10 years ago or something. But I just kind of watched that scene, was like, nothing's happening yet. But yeah, it's definitely a different experience
I exactly
watching this
agree with
as
that.
an adult.
Yeah, because you got all those little details. Like there's that guy who's practicing his speech before going in to see Vito because he's just so terrified. And apparently that was when he stumbles on his line when he's talking to Vito. That was because the actual actor was so frightened of acting with Marlon Brando that he messed up his line.
Perfect.
And he went back and wrote in the practicing scene.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
afterwards,
which is great.
Which makes it feel really genuine. Yeah, I really like that.
When you flub your line and you get extra screen time because of it.
Yeah.
What a gig.
Yeah, well, it was a great moment, too. I can't believe I forgot his name.
Joey.
Yeah, they're all named Joey and Sal, Karma. Yeah. I was going to say the hit scenes in this are epic. I don't know what other word to use at this point. The hit scenes are great. I think they're like the best parts of the movie, like when Don Corleone is attacked in the fruit market. Like that was an iconic moment. Al Pacino shooting the cop and the other guy in the restaurant. That whole sequence was just excellent. Like
that was
the
my
tension
favorite.
of it. They didn't translate the Italian at all, which I saw confused some people on the Sardonicast Reddit. But some people were like, it's because Al Pacino wasn't listening to him at all. Like it was just going right through him.
Yeah.
All he was thinking about was killing him. Like I liked the meaning there by not putting the subtitles.
Every other scene was translated, but it was an interesting choice. I figured it was intentional, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
The hit scenes are certainly iconic, that's for sure. They're all very memorable. I really enjoyed like the tension building and the soundtrack. And just the way things flowed, especially with the hospital scene, and what's his face shows up, and he wants to help, and he gets him to pretend that there's like a gun in his coat. By the way, spoiler discussion, everybody. I don't know if we mentioned that. I don't think we did, but
Yeah, we usually
spoiler discussion for all these.
It'll
all
be in the
three of these
description
movies.
too.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've given it to you. I'm so sorry.
Shit.
Oh, okay.
They didn't say
You
we
gave
could
to
get
me
it through
over,
our computers.
Discord.
God damn it. Discord's infected.
It's evolved.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's every single action moment felt very mature. It didn't feel like cheesy or like gratuitous or over the top. And also the effects for the gunshot wounds and like the blood and all that, I think it worked really well, especially for the time.
Yeah, because wasn't that something that was pressured by the studio, was they wanted the film to have a wide as appeal as possible, so they kind of pressured the director to have as much violence as possible, because, that's what sells movies. Apparently the scene where the wife smashes up the kitchen, breaking every plate, was added in after the fact to kind of appease the producers and impress the ones with the money.
Was that in the first one?
Yeah, right? Am I wrong?
I don't remember. It's a blur. It's either the first or the second one.
I watched them all in like a row, so it is just this Godfather blur. But I'm pretty sure that is in the first movie.
There's also a cut of all of them in order, like including the second one and all.
Oh, interesting.
Like the ultimate cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've
just
never
a
seen
chronological
that one,
Godfather movie.
Yeah, I feel like that takes a lot away from how they're structured.
I'm sure, but it would be at least interesting.
I guess it would be cool to see. Yeah, definitely interesting to see.
Yeah. I want to see a chronological Saw series. That'd be the best
That would
one.
just make no sense.
Oh no, I could edit that together. I could make that. It would be a long movie and very fun.
I'm surprised, like, even this movie, I'm surprised the mob was okay with it because of the amount of violence. How the mob is presented in this, there's some bad things.
Yeah,
like
I couldn't tell you.
Deal heroin, like that's all mentioned. And also how they gave it to poor neighborhoods.
They kind of take like a a virtuous kind of stance against the drug thing in this one, don't they? Where they're like, no, we can't.
Yeah, I guess you're
True,
right.
yeah.
The Don Corleone
Like,
does.
don't
He's like,
sell it to the
we're
kids."
remaining traditional.
Yeah.
Don't sell it to the kids. I don't want it in schools.
Yeah. So they're
Even
like the
so.
good guys.
It is definitely romanticized compared to later movies, especially the fact they don't say mafia at all. They say it in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The police call them the mafia, or the guy in the courtroom.
Such an interesting choice. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the behind the scenes stuff. I figured you guys would probably have that information.
Yeah, it's
so.
definitely it's really interesting because there was a fair amount of controversy after the film came out about this very subject, about is it, like a stereotypical depiction that's doing more harm than good. And there's a whole there are multiple like B plots in The Sopranos about that very thing, about like, is this all just like, is this doing anyone any good depicting this way?
Yeah, exactly. The unions would protest because they wanted like an image of Italian Americans that was not the mafia. They wanted to get away from gangsters and all that. And movies like this kind of promoted that kind of stereotype. They saw it.
Yeah, and I was reading
Which
some
makes sense.
like real life, gangsters. After they saw the movie, they were like blown away by it because it was just like their lives on the screen.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
of course.
Yeah, so it was kind of romanticized by them for after that point.
What does Vafangool mean? Do you know, Ralph?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Vafangool.
I just had it in my notes. Vafangool. Interesting words.
Yeah, we haven't
Some
really
things I
mentioned
don't
the heart of the movie, which is Al Pacino's character's kind of arc of going from like a reluctant person in the family to embracing was that idea of the power, being drawn to the power and it kind of corrupting innocence and that kind of idea. That's the heart with him changing into where he takes over at the end as the Don or whatever.
Yeah, I would agree
that's
with
really
you.
what the story's about.
For sure.
Yeah, the family kind of sucks him in. It's a great movie about family, unlike The Last Jedi or something like that.
Like Fast and Furious. It's about family.
They just say this is family. We're family. Because the family,
said
like
it.
he's trying to do a legitimate thing. He's trying to live his own life. He has his own girlfriend, but his family is part of this mafia, and their situation is so bad that they start like their lives are in danger. And what is he going to do? He has to come in and help them because it's his family.
Mm-hmm.
And that life kind of like just it destroys him in the end. But he gets sucked into it, even though he really had every good intention in the world to be a good guy and to go straight. It's very sad.
Yeah, it is a tragedy.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the like visual sort of transformation as well. Like it helped make the character transformation that much more apparent. Like in the wedding scene at the beginning, like when you see him line up for the photo with his family, it's like, wow, this he's dressed entirely different than everyone else there, and that's kind of like a nice little visual to sort of solidify the difference in character dynamics. And then that scene where Kay sees him after so long, and he's got like the full like mobster suit or whatever. And you can tell that he's just like a completely different, changed person. And the costumes really help bring that point forward.
And I love how he kind of lies to himself. What does he say? He says, in 5 years, this business will be legitimate. He says that to Kay, doesn't he? To try and calm her, because she obviously has problems with what he's doing. And it comes back later in part 2 in a really nice, like, roundabout way. That kind of hammers home the idea of the movie.
Do you think he didn't mean that? Because I thought he wanted to go legitimate.
I think that's how he was justifying what he was doing in his own kind of psyche.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was convincing himself to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. Because we see it, obviously, like it's not legitimate in 5 years. That's like a huge part of part 2. And what happens there.
If it was just like Godfather Part II, it's like
worked out.
We got an ice cream truck
It's
business.
just really chill, yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, the character transformation aspect is why I enjoyed this particular movie so much. And I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just going to say it now. I enjoyed this one more than the other two. This one would be my favorite. I know that a lot of people consider the second one to be better. I think, or at least there's a decent amount
Some people
of
do.
people. Yeah. The character transformation aspect really, really helped with this one, and I thought that it had the best pacing too. Yeah, for a long
totally
movie, it doesn't
agree.
really feel like it drags on or anything, and every moment of the film feels more or less justified in terms of it building on the ideas that it's presenting and building on the characters it's showing. It's not just throwaway moments, like you're actually developing things in the story and the characters. Like you see the juxtaposition between how people are reacting in the opening scene when they're asking Vito for these favors, and you see this like stark contrast between the first guy that asks him and how he's like, oh, you come to me after blah blah blah, you don't even treat me like family, blah, and just like the dynamic and how they interact with each other versus the next person that shows up, and not only their request but just how these characters view each other, and you see this nice range and you understand these dynamics better. Like that's really what I got out of this movie watching it as an adult, was a much better understanding of like the dynamics in the film, and that really helped the experience for like the story it was trying to tell. Like if you understand the dynamics of everything going on, then it's like, okay, that makes it just so much better. I feel like there might be, in terms of like what didn't help my first watch when I was younger, I feel like there might be like too many characters that might have influenced my ability to follow what was going on the first time I watched it. But yeah, the second time it was a lot easier to understand what was going on. But I have to admit, like there's some moments where it's just like somebody dies and it's just like, oh, who was that? Like,
Yeah, I'd have two recommendations. I would say definitely watch with subtitles. It really helps follow along what's happening, and don't be afraid to Google like a character's name or have the IMDb up so you can see, oh, that was that character. And
there's a lot going on.
Just so you can keep. Yeah, it's incredibly dense in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It also starts that thing the whole trilogy does, where the kind of structure of the movies all kind of is set around these like huge events, whether it be like it starts with the wedding, there's the funeral towards the end, and the baptism too.
Oh yeah,
which is like a really good way of
great.
Where it's
the
cutting
there
between the murders. Yeah. There's some really good stuff like that, really expressive kind of visual storytelling without having to over explain anything. It's all very clear from what they're showing. I was reading afterwards that apparently oranges in this franchise foreshadow some kind of death or trauma that's coming up. Yeah, 'cause,
interesting.
When Vito, I really like that scene where Vito shows a bit of vulnerability with the grandkid, and he has the orange in his mouth, and that's when he has his heart attack and perishes.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Lots of great scenes.
What do you think of Marlon Brando in the film?
Yeah,
he's the most iconic part.
That's for sure worth mentioning. Yeah, it's such a wild and out there character interpretation that you would think that a lot of people trying it wouldn't work, but it really, really worked with that.
It really
immediately
works.
You think it's like comedic or something, but it works in the movie. It's comedic when people imitate it because it's so iconic.
Yeah, it's very ambitious.
But there's nothing about the movie. Yeah, in the movie it works really well.
Yeah, because they sell that he means business. They show very early on with that horsehead scene that you do not fuck with this guy. Like he means what he says, but he also has that kind of like honor code. He has his own set of morals, and that's what is so interesting about all these kind of mob stories, is that they just live in a completely different world. They do abide, they don't abide by the law, and they do just live by their own rules within the structure of everything else, and that's inevitably what leads to the decline, because it just can't exist in society in the way that it does.
Yeah, their own set of principles. So did they like did they poison the guy before the horse head thing, or were they just really quiet? The guy's a really heavy sleeper.
Oh, like knock him out? Yeah,
I don't know.
Assume he was just sleeping.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, they just in the middle of the night they came in with a giant horse head.
He's just like soaked. I love how pretentious his fucking bed set is. Just like the gold pillowcases and shit. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, that's
Who's that
funny.
for? What an asshole.
Yeah, that was a sequence that caused some drama behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Frank Sinatra.
Oh, really?
He thought the character was based on him. He got very upset about it.
That's great.
That would make sense.
I love it when people get upset about characters they think are based off of them. It just seems like you're projecting. I forget which character it was, but Lindsay Lohan did that once to some movie. She's like, you're just supposed to be Lindsay Lohan, and I demand royalties. And it's like, what?
Oh, that was for the GTA 5 cover with the like woman in a bikini.
Just like,
Yeah.
okay, that's my likeness.
It's like, what? Yeah.
That just draws attention to it.
Yeah, not everything's about you. Calm down. There were some really great shots in this movie too. I particularly enjoyed the one where the guy gets strangled in the car and his feet break through the windshield towards the camera as the vehicle drives away. And just the vehicle driving away within that shot just adds like another layer of like coordination to it, where it's just like, oh, okay, wow. Like this is a very well coordinated, well thought out shot, and it works very well.
Yeah.
They pulled it off.
The opening shot of like the zoom out. Even when Don Corleone's assassinated in the street, there was like a bird's eye view shot that was really cool. It was like a god's eye point of view or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was, they put a lot of thought into it. It also was way darker. Like the cinematography is really dark. There's like lots of eye shadows, and people are like, there's scenes that are totally in shadow and like black. The studio thought the movie was totally unreleasable because of that.
No,
like
that's what makes it so good. It really emphasizes the kind of shadiness of it and the contrast of those white collars with the black suits. I think it's really effective.
It was clearly a stylistic choice. It wasn't like an accident. The movie looked like that. That it was really orange and really dark.
Yeah.
But the studio fucking hated that. Another decision, and they were like, "Oh, we can't release this."
It's always so fascinating when studios are just like, this sucks. This will never work, and then it becomes like the most popular thing that they've released, and it's just like,
because they're
you don't know
idiots.
what the fuck you're talking about. And then they just ruin things
They're
with
so
like test
fearful.
screenings or whatever, and just chop it up. Like fuck.
Oh yeah. Apparently, even though they were breathing down his neck for the whole production, he still delivered it on time and under budget. So they were just freaking out for nothing, really.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it was at the time like the most successful film ever released. So it was basically the fucking Avengers of the time.
Yeah, it was like The Irishman, kind of like all the Italian guys get together, make a movie.
Yeah, because it went through so many different directors. It was a really troubled production, and I think that's what led to this one being the best of the trilogy. Because we've talked about this before, where when like art has to be made through such trials and tribulations. If it does work out, it tends to lean to it being quite special. If it is able to overcome the restraints, because as you see, the more power and freedom that the crew is given, there is a gradual decline, in my opinion, after this point.
I think Robert Duvall is great in these as Tom, but he's not in the third one, and the movie really misses him. And the same thing with the second one. You don't have Marlon Brando in that as Don Corleone. You have or Vito, actually. You have Robert De Niro playing him. And De Niro's great, but it's sorely missed, like the iconic, Don Corleone that Marlon Brando played.
I agree.
Because he was supposed to be in it, but he just didn't show up on the shooting day, I believe, because he felt he was so slighted by the studio or something like that, by Paramount, I think.
I want to mention before we start talking about the other Godfather movies, I really enjoyed the sound design, not just the score, which is obviously like iconic and memorable. It's very pop culture, obviously. It's like you already have it memorized like before you've even seen it. But like even during the more like subtly tense scenes where it wasn't necessarily the main theme of the film music wise. Not just the soundtrack, but they had like these noises of I think it was like the train or whatever going. Yeah, and it kind of like added this weird sense of rhythm and really built up the tension in an interesting way. Really enjoyed the sound design. Yeah, when he's walking out of the bathroom with a gun.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean by just what I like so much about the scene construction of the movie, that it is paced so well. The restaurant scene, the horsehead scene, the car blowing up scene, like there is so much quick setup and payoff within the constraints of all these different scenes. It is just masterfully done. And I don't think it is ever quite captured in that same kind of intensity and with that pacing after this movie, in the trilogy anyway.
Yep, I agree. Only other thing I didn't mention in my notes is just how big that fucking cake is at the beginning. It's way too tall. How do you even cut that shit?
It is huge.
I can't not mention that. What the hell was
feed a
that
lot
cake?
of people, though.
You gotta get like a ladder for someone to cut the fucking cake. What is that? It's so excessive.
It did look like a pretty fun wedding, though, to be fair.
They love their cakes. Yeah, it was a really like authentic Italian wedding. Even in the second movie, he has a cake and he gives it to the waiter. He's like, "Show it around to everybody," and he shows everyone individually
Everyone
the cake.
sees the cake.
Italians love their desserts and their pastries.
All right, yeah. Final thoughts on part 1?
It's great. It's pretty much as good as movies get, I think. So
Yeah.
like 5 out of
Yeah,
5
maybe.
if I had to give it a rating, or 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm on the same level. I think it is masterfully made. 5 stars.
And I'm giving this one a great out of 10. It's 8 out of 10. It could move up to a 9 for sure. Like I said, really loved the character transformation. Love a lot about it. Sound design, a lot of great shots, well paced. Obviously very influential. But I'm not a huge fan personally of mafia movies in general, like mobster. Like it's like a genre where I'm like not. It doesn't like speak to me as much as like some other genres of films, which is why I really got a lot out of this just from the character transformation aspect. If that aspect wasn't in the film, I would still think it's a great movie technically in pretty much every way, but it wouldn't connect with me as much as it did if that aspect wasn't there. That's what I really, really got out of it in terms of like a personal movie watching experience. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for now. Could get higher another if I watch it again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All
Awesome.
right. Who's introducing part 2?
I guess I'll talk about it.
Yeah, you did.
Briefly. It continues on following Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino, but also in this film it follows Vito Corleone as a kid and then as a young man living in Hell's Kitchen in the early 1900s, and that's basically the two plot lines going on at the same time. Michael's trying to find a traitor within the family as well. So he's going on like a murderous rampage, and it starts basically a little war within the family. And that's basically what's happening. It focuses more on like what's the brother's name who becomes the villain? In this?
Fuck, what is his name?
Fredo.
Fredo.
Yeah.
I was going to call him
Frodo. Yeah, let's call him Frodo.
But I love that dynamic he has with his brother in this, because Michael clearly has way more power than him, but he also doesn't want to use it against him because it's his brother and it's his family. And so there was this interesting, like, I know this guy's fucking me over and I have to kill him, but I can't because he's my blood. And there's like even a line, he says, don't do anything to him until my mom is dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not even him
alive.
that wants him alive. Not while she's alive.
Yeah.
Because it's just for her. Like, after that, I don't give a fuck what happens to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was really... It shows his character at that point. It was really fucked up.
What was the reasoning for the older brother being skipped over and the power going straight to Al Pacino? Was it just because he acted? He was
it
more
might have been because
proactive
he
and
saved
showed
his
more...
dad's life in the hospital in the first movie. That might have been it.
Yeah, I assumed
his dad
it was
just
that.
appoints him. Yeah. I don't even know if Fredo's there in that meeting. When he, like, gives all the power to him. I forgot.
Yeah, I just interpreted it like from the first movie when Marlon Brando like smiles while he's like in the hospital bed. I figured that was like a moment where he's like, you're part of the family. Like I sort of expected like that would be how the power would be given to him in a sense. Was just from his decision.
He's the most competent one too. He got a college education and everything.
Yeah.
Like Fredo, they see him as an idiot. They totally look down
yeah.
on him, which is partly why he betrays the family. but it was really sad. Like, there was the scene when he's in that chair and he's like, I'm the smart one, I'm smart. And he's like leaning against this chair and he looks so weak and pathetic.
It's like
and Al
pathetic,
Pacino's standing there. Yeah, it's brilliant though.
You think I'm a screw up? I was just thinking of Onward.
I'm smart, I can do things. It's like, yeah, you can't.
I guess that is what will define for you whether you prefer part 1 or part 2, because I'm kind of with Adam where I really like the kind of fall of Al Pacino's character from the first movie, and this one's more about that family falling apart. It's about the family starting to lose its respect and just kind of crumble.
Yeah, it's the end of the family, but also the very start of it with Robert De Niro and all his stuff.
Yeah, and personally, I really liked all of the Al Pacino kind of flashback scenes. Those are my definite like favorite scenes in the movie, aside from the brother interactions. Because while I thought part 2 was very, very good, I did feel like it sagged a little bit in the middle with the Cuban Revolution segment. I don't know what it was about that part for me where it lost a bit of momentum, and I couldn't help but directly contrast it with the first movie where it's like I didn't feel like that it was dragging at any point in the first movie, but around that point, especially with how long part 2 is, especially with how it does get a lot more complicated. Like the first movie is dense with its story and trying to keep up with all the characters and the plot and the relationships with everyone, and it gets even more complicated in part 2. So it might just be a case of like with the first movie where I've seen that movie twice now and it's a bit more clear and easy to understand in my head. Maybe I need to see part 2 again, because that's another thing I was reading about was when part 2 originally released, it wasn't as highly regarded as it is now. There was way more of a disparity between what people thought about it. It was like half people thought it was just nothing compared to the first movie, and the other half thought it was much better.
Yeah.
And there's definitely something to explore. But
people probably had very high expectations for it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how do you follow up the best movie of all time type thing?
Yeah.
You know?
Did you mean
This
to
one
say
won Best Picture too.
De Niro flashback scenes? Because you said Al Pacino flashback scenes.
Oh, sorry, yeah, De Niro.
I honestly confuse them all the time, and it took me a
Al
long
Pacino,
time.
Robert De Niro.
Like it was about halfway through this movie where I realized that it was actually De Niro and not Al Pacino playing like the younger.
Really?
Vito Corleone. Yeah, like just in that time period, just the younger versions of themselves, they look way too similar, and I get them confused all the time. Current Pacino and De Niro, very easy to distinguish, but the younger versions, like they looked way too similar, and I was confused. But I figured it out. I figured it out eventually.
It was really good casting. I really liked De Niro's commitment to. He barely has any dialogue in English even. It's mostly in Italian, which I really respect because it really
tries to do the
adds to the
voice
authenticity.
a little bit.
Yeah.
They mentioned that like he can't speak at 9 years old at the beginning of the film. So it's like, was that just her way of trying to like convince them not to go after him, or is that like speech impediment sort of trying to be used to describe or explain why Vito winds up talking so weird? Is that like kind of...
It must be something like... It couldn't have been a lie from the mother, because they have that whole scene where he's kind of in the immigration office and he doesn't say a word, does he?
Oh, yeah.
So she must have been telling the truth.
Yeah. He's like mute.
Or maybe they told him not to say anything.
Well, I mean...
His history. If anyone found out who he really was, he would be killed.
Yeah, that too. You get better child performances when they don't open their mouths. So
that's true.
True.
That's actually a good thing about the movie, that the children don't talk. Probably take a lot out of it. Because we see a lot of sequels, and a lot of sequels are bad. This is one that feels like it's a natural extension of the first one, and it actually explores things that are interesting and you want to learn about. You want to learn what happens to this family afterward, and you want to learn about Vito's past and all that. All that's interesting. It doesn't feel forced or shoehorned or anything. Yeah. So I did like, the writing is still really good. It still looks great. Like all the acting is great. It's a high caliber movie.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot left to explore that they could dive into for this movie. it did feel like earned in a way. It didn't feel like unjustified, like they were don't leave no stone unturned trying to figure out how to stretch the story out or anything like that. There was a lot that they could do with it, and I'm glad that they went, back in time and also continued the story forwards.
Yeah, and there were parallels definitely between their arcs and what Vito was going through and Michael.
Yeah, it's incredibly ambitious to basically have these two movies in one, because the plots they're not like directly related to each other aside from that is the same family. Like it's not essential to know one to understand the other or anything like that. So you could kind of watch them independently of each other, but they do work as the one rising and one falling type thing. Because it is really satisfying, especially to see Vito kind of outsmart that smarmy guy. I can't remember his name.
The guy in the white hat.
Yeah, I found that to be quite satisfying.
Yeah, that was really cool. That whole subplot was really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in this movie too, even more than the first one, it seems, in terms of like different ideas being communicated. They have that whole like courtroom scene,
Yeah.
and like the guy being interrogated for being like a hitman, and the lawyer just giving the best reactions like as he's talking, and the one guy who's like, "Yeah, I just made up my sworn statement just to please the FBI guys." Like,
He's smoking a cigar.
You had an affidavit, blah, blah, blah. And they were so mad. It was pretty funny. I like that part.
And there's the whole relationship with Al Pacino's wife.
Kay.
Kay, with the main point of drama being when she reveals that she had an abortion because she despises him so much that she couldn't bear to bear another child from him, which is quite a good scene where they have a bit of a showdown.
Yeah, it seemed in a way that they were trying to kind of bring back the same energy as like the scene near the end of the first one. I really love how the first movie ended too. I thought that was fantastic in terms of just like how to wrap things up while leaving it, open-ended and having you think about things. And yeah, there was a lot more to explore about that in this movie, although I do feel like it was kind of hitting the same beats in a way. It felt like they were just bringing that back rather than doing something like completely new with it. And yeah, I like the twist for sure. I like that it's revealed that she aborted the child. But yeah, it does feel like kind of a almost repetitive in a way. Like it's great performance scenes for sure, but it does feel like
I felt more that way about the third one. Their dynamic in the third one. This one, I think seeing the end of their relationship like that was fine. Like I enjoyed seeing it. Like I don't think it was repetitive.
Well, that the original idea for the movie was that Al Pacino's arc was going to be his death in the movie, and contrasted with the rise of Vito, which I kind of like the idea more of, because then you wouldn't need Godfather Part III. I mean, it would have been kind of cool if they had embraced that.
You don't need Godfather Part III either way.
Up. Right. Oh, yeah, like even the dynamic with Kay, like it's pretty much ended in this. He was grounded to reality through her, basically, and to like a normal life. And once she's gone, it's like, all right, all the bets are off. But there was nowhere else to go with that, really, aside from him feeling guilty about it, about how poorly he was as a husband. But that's it. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah, because Coppola describes Part 1 and Part 2 as the real story, and then Part 3 is like an epilogue. She's like, what?
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Well, it's a strange way to structure a trilogy, because you're basically admitting that the third part is just not as important. Really.
Well, that one is way more of a character piece just about Al Pacino or Michael. Like the rest of them are about the family. They focus on other characters, and they focus on the sister and his brothers. That one's just about him, really.
We'll get into
weird.
Part 3.
It didn't really have a B plot. Yeah, we'll get to, but that one didn't really have a B plot like these the rest of them had.
I enjoyed how this film started in terms of like setting things up. Like it didn't need to explain every little thing that happened in between. I thought that it was really interesting to have Michael's sister coming to him for money. Like that was an interesting dynamic to set things up on.
Yeah.
It's a nice start to the movie where it's like, okay, yeah, I understand what's happening here.
It starts differently too. Like it's not the same movie again. They go to Italy in the beginning, and you see like all that stuff, the backstory. Vito. I loved everything in Italy, and his revenge later on. All that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of the same technical aspects, still really well done. The bullet wounds and gunshots and everything were, I thought, very well done. Soundtrack was great.
There was like
well shot.
A hit gone wrong, like in a bar, and a police officer walks in. I thought that scene was just crazy, and it devolves into a shootout, like in the street, and the guy gets hit by a car. I love that. I thought that was epic.
I perhaps this might have been just because I watched them like pretty much directly after each other, like one day and then the next day, like part 1 and then part 2 the day after. But it almost felt kind of like, after a while, just a little bit comical, just how many characters were strangled from behind. Like you have so many different instances of that happening, especially in the first 2 movies, that by the time the second movie was happening, like we're like halfway into the movie or whatever, and like the guy's got like the coat hanger strangling from behind and like blah blah blah. So many different scenarios that like every single scene I watched, I apologize if this offends anybody, but like every single scene I watched, I kept cracking up thinking of like, oh, what if somebody just comes behind them and strangles them at this moment? Like every single character on screen, I was just thinking, like, expecting them to get strangled from behind, just like some random guy
like
showing up,
how the characters
like
feel.
Regardless of context, like any given scene. I found that pretty funny. It was pretty amusing for me because it happened so many times. It was like a punchline after a certain point, just like.
It's a popular way of killing people. So.
Yeah,
it's pretty efficient.
Pretty efficient, yeah.
They
had to change it up a little bit.
Do you think this film stands on its own, though?
Yeah, I think
you
so.
Do?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
I guess the only thing that's kind of holding it back is the Vito's not in the movie as an older version. So half of the movie, like you'd have no context for
as to who that guy is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue that it's still a great movie, but I probably wouldn't enjoy it nearly as much on its own without the first one, because the first movie is what made me care about the characters. That whole character transformation and arc is what really got me to care about the main character especially, and even Kay and some of the other characters. Without the first movie, I'm not, like, if this was like the first introduction to these characters, I wouldn't have that same emotional connection to what's happening. I wouldn't really care as much about what's going on. And I think that with that setup initially, that really helps the experience. Yeah,
to me it would be like starting with season 2 of a show. Like it is such a continuation. Like I really think the first one's essential, and you can't I can't imagine just putting on the Godfather Part II. I feel like I would have to kind of do a double bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
still great. Just didn't have as much for me in terms of like a personal connection to the movie. The technical aspects are all things that I appreciated, but there's no real hook for me from like a character perspective, because I felt like even though certainly there is a journey of this character in this movie, I mean, most of the journey was done in part 1, and that's what I was really attached to, was this character transformation thing, and it felt like, although to some degree he was still transforming in ways, it just wasn't as extreme.
You're saying exactly what I'm thinking. Like I think we're on the exact same page for these first 2 movies. It is exceptionally made, but I don't have that same connection, and I don't think it's quite as memorable, just in terms of like that like scene structure from the first movie and just the iconic lines and everything. I don't think it's quite on the same level.
Reading through my notes, it's like I remember all these scenes, reading them, but like I don't need to do that for the first movie. The first movie is like etched in my brain. When I think The Godfather, I'm thinking of like all of these classic scenes from the first film. I'm not really thinking about the second one. It's like a nice addition to the story, in my opinion, but not nearly as memorable.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
What about you, Ralph?
Well, I don't feel that way.
What would you give it out of 10?
Me? I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's just as good as the first one. I honestly feel like it's a natural extension of everything that first one started.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best sequels, I think.
Yeah.
Up there with Toy Story 2 or The Lord of the Rings. It felt like, again, just natural part of the story.
Yeah. I agree. It felt like a natural extension, but it still felt like an extension in a way. I felt like most of what I loved,
Like
really,
DLC.
yeah, and it's nice DLC. It's like if you like the thing, and you want more of it, there's more of the thing. But like the hook, for me, every thing that would get me interested in watching the DLC in the first place, everything that was established is all found within the first movie, more or less, for me. 8 out of 10 from me. Same rating, just like very different emotional experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is like a really good expansion. Like, you're right. There's nothing I really disliked about the movie aside from I just don't think it's as tight as the first one, which is like, it's still really high praise. I'm just trying to pinpoint what it is about the second one that didn't leave me loving it in the same way I did the first.
Yeah.
So I still give it, I'm torn between a 4 stars or a 4.5 stars. I think I'm going to settle on 4 for now. Might change upon rewatching it for a second time, because again, this is only my first time seeing it. So,
okay, and I guess I'll introduce part 3.
Here we go.
Yeah. Part 3.
The Godfather Part 3 is bad. It's not good. It's
What's the plot?
it's you know, I fucking checked out so early into this movie. It's like
it's made way later than the rest of them too. The first 2 were made in the 70s. This one's made in 1990.
Yeah, it feels like a really unnecessary addition to the story. It's a kind of like a cash grab. Honestly, yeah, it that's what it feels like.
It literally is.
And Francis Ford Coppola decided to throw his daughter Sophia into a major role in the film, and she can't act for shit, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, she's really terrible.
She's like the worst fucking thing. She's fucking awful.
Yeah. Like, alone what that character actually has to do. It's a very strange subplot.
Right.
Can we talk about how fucking weird it is to write your own daughter into like an incest plot in your film? Can we talk about how weird that is?
Incredibly strange.
And they kept reaffirming that they're cousins.
Think about that.
Every fucking line that they were saying in that movie was like, yeah, cuz, you're my cousin, right? Yes, I am your cousin. And it was like, we love each other and we're cousins. That was like the whole... that was everything that those two characters did.
I don't understand the point
that
of
they're
it.
Cousins. Oh, weird, Francis.
Like the family thing? Is it like a family... like, oh, they're in the family, so it's okay?
It's about family. It's really about
they try to
family
justify it, don't they?
There's a lot about the morality of the movie that I thought was weird. Yeah. Like, this one clearly is trying to sympathize more with Michael. Like, you're supposed to feel bad for him.
Because he feels bad now.
And what he loses.
That's what the plot's about, I guess.
But it doesn't earn that. Like, the first 2, they demonized the mafia, too, even though they supported it. But, like, in the second movie, they grill Michael in court, and they're like, you're dishonest, you're a criminal, you've killed people, and his wife, too. Like, he doesn't demand sympathy from the audience like this movie does. And it's obnoxious.
Yeah, it robs the subtlety from the character. Yeah. Because he is such an intimidating force by the end of that second movie. You just really don't see him going to church and like crying to a priest in confession. It's really strange. Yeah. Like, I really don't buy that character doing that.
It insists
I felt that was like really out of character.
Like Peter Griffin said.
I can't say that without thinking of him now. It insists upon itself, Lois.
But he's not only just upset about it, but he's actively seeking redemption, which is such a strange angle to take, because as viewers, we know all the stuff he's done. Like, what could he possibly do to redeem it? Like that, because that's kind of the plot of the movie. Is he starts giving huge sums of money to like charities and churches and stuff as a kind of way to, I guess, virtue signal.
Yeah. he's like a Bryce in season 3 of 13 Reasons Why.
Exactly. Yeah, like, that was on my mind, obviously. 'Cause it's like, it's a really unsubtle, clumsy way of trying to end that character arc, because I keep bringing up The Sopranos, but the main character is really similar in the way he's like a messed up mob boss, but they never go that route, and they make it way more realistic and complex, and they let the audience decide really like what to take away from the character, instead of trying to be like, okay, now let's make him sympathetic, and he does have a heart, and it really does ring hollow from that kind of angle.
I feel less upset about the direction that they took the character and more upset about how it was presented. I think that the presentation of this film is just really awful. All things, like not just like the level of subtlety in terms of like what they're trying to communicate and just the clumsiness of how they're communicating ideas, but also like even like the technical aspects of the film. We already mentioned the acting. A lot of the acting's bad. Sofia Coppola is like easily the worst actor in the movie, and she gets lots of screen time, and it's really annoying. But a lot of the other actors are also just fucking really underperformed. Like they don't seem into it. Like it doesn't seem like they rehearsed. Seemed like they were just kind of like reading through the script at certain points. Like a lot of the characters just felt like poorly defined, and everything was just clumsy. Like it felt like we went into the quality of like a TV performance for this movie. Yeah. It felt like it was TV actors from the 90s.
One thing I like about the first one is Al Pacino was very subtle in it. He wasn't yelling like every 5 seconds. Yeah. He wasn't as Al Pacino-y as much as he was in the second and third one, when he starts to go on these long monologues and yell. And this one, it's really silly.
Yeah. It's incredibly goofy.
What you said about the action being mature, there's a hit scene in this where like they're eating dinner and like a helicopter comes in out of nowhere and starts machine guns on them, like it starts shooting everybody.
Reminded
in the
me
room.
of like
it's
Star
fucking
Trek
crazy.
Into Darkness.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is the mafia. It's not like it's the CIA.
Yeah.
Like they don't like what the fuck.
You thought those hit scenes were cool in those other movies you loved? Well, this one's even bigger. We got more explosions, and we got a man who really loves his lucky coat, and he's gonna fucking die while he's yelling about his lucky coat. This is my lucky coat.
But then Al Pacino, he just runs out. He just runs out of the building.
It didn't really work very well.
There was no result or like stakes, or nothing happened because of that. It was like this completely over the top moment.
It felt like it belonged in like a Die Hard sequel. It was like Die Hard 4 kind of shit.
It didn't feel like it belonged in The Godfather.
Yeah. Like all the subtlety is just thrown out the window in this movie.
What actually is the story of the movie?
He feels
what is
bad.
The plot? Like I got so lost.
The character feels bad now, and that's pretty much the story. Like I checked out so early. He's
trying to make amends with everybody.
I could not get invested in this story at all. It was very early on into the movie where I was just like, not doing it.
Yeah. Once you get to that opera scene towards the end, like I just had no idea who was who and why people were getting knocked off and what was important about it.
Yeah.
It was so repetitive. It was so much like the first two. With that, the hit scene at the end, it starts with a wedding. It's like, all right, with the same nonsense. Come on.
They're very clearly trying to recapture a lot of the same emotions from the successful moments of the other two films, but there's nothing that earns
footage
it
from the old
at all.
Ones too.
Oh yeah, that's so weird. Like that flashback at the beginning, like, oh yeah, remember I killed Alfredo or whatever. It's like, I don't know. There's stuff in the movie that literally just says it anyway. You don't even need that flashback. But going back to that opera scene,
like a clip show.
Yeah, the opera scene at the end is just like, it's so laughably bad. It's so embarrassing how hard that they try and recapture that same sort of like it's like they were trying to do that like juxtaposition with like the baptism and the killings of the other film, or like even when they were building up the scene and they're very clearly trying to do this like slower kind of like tension building in the opera scene, and it's fine for the first little bit. I thought it might get a little interesting, but then 5 minutes go by. I'm just fucking shoot each other already. It was just it was testing my patience after a certain point because it wasn't earning anything that it was doing, and it was very annoying and very embarrassing.
Did you think the acting was good from like most of the cast, the people who come back? Because I think that's what redeems it, kind of, is that the performances were solid. There's
Pacino
like some
does
scenes
a
of them
good
just acting
job.
that were good.
But
yeah, even though he yells a lot, but he's still
still as well. I
he was
thought
still
was
caring.
okay.
Yeah, but what they're saying just isn't convincing. Like they don't have a lot to work with. and a lot of it just feels really forced after a certain point. Like even in the scenes where he's like arguing with Kay, it's just like doesn't feel genuine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like doing the rounds.
What about
Going
when
through
they
the
were kind of
motions.
starting to reconnect a bit? Because that was the only time I was like, okay, there's something here. I could see in a movie that was created because of passion and not because they needed to make some money because of a previous movie bombing so hard that they needed a guaranteed success.
Huh.
Yeah.
So this was literally a cash grab. I heard that like Francis Ford
No,
Coppola
yeah, I think it was
ran out of money or
quite
some shit.
literally. Yeah, because whichever production company it was had a string of like flops or something like that. They needed a guaranteed hit. Everyone involved wanted money. There was a lot of like arguments behind the scenes about. It was why you mentioned it earlier, Ralph. The guy who's a big part of 1 and 2.
Who had like ties to the mafia.
Robert Duvall. I mean, like he's not in Part 3
Oh.
at all,
Okay.
and he literally said he didn't want to be in it because the only reason you'd make
yeah.
a sequel this late is for one reason, and it's just for money. And I think it is so
Oops.
obvious. It really comes across that way.
Yep.
Like it doesn't come. The first 2 movies come from such a place of passion. Like everyone is like in their A game, and they're really expressing something, ideas, and there's so much like artistic expression, and it really does feel like a just trying to recapture this spark for the sake of just a cash grab. It's sad in that way, and it makes it made it fairly just unwatchable to me. Like after an hour of the 3, because it's 3 hours long still, like I was the same. I completely checked out.
Yeah.
I just couldn't pay attention to it because there's just nothing really of interest.
It
'Cause,
doesn't
it
deserve
is
your
so
attention.
similar. Yeah, exactly. Like I was really hoping that it had kind of been oversold as being too bad or something. That it wasn't going to live up to its negative reputation, but
Yeah.
from the get-go, it feels completely different. It doesn't have that same dedication to setting that mood and atmosphere in the same way. It's just not the same.
Yeah,
It
doesn't
really
it start with
feels
him
off.
writing a letter and there's just like voiceover
Yeah.
narration?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
Fredo
Immediately,
flashback.
it's like
It's
what?
like terrible. I'm like, oh my god. Just no.
It feels like a
million movies
parody
I
of
feel
itself.
started like that. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It felt like
I
a
was like,
90s
there's moments I
TV
was
movie.
laughing at it. Yeah, definitely.
Reminded me
Yeah.
of like some shitty Stephen King thing, like the Shining.
Because it was approached with such a huge time gap in the middle. It feels like someone who's left something that they created in the past, trying to come back to it at a completely different point in their lives, where they
Mhm.
kind of lost whatever spark that was that inspired the original stuff.
It's like George Lucas with the prequels, kind of. It's like
Yeah, in a
I
way.
mean, they were
Yeah.
even friends, George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know if so the first one was based off of a book? Was the second one also, and this one wasn't? Like, how do you?
No, I think
are
the
you aware?
second one was original, but
Okay.
it was also written by Mario Puzo.
Oh,
They were
I
all
think
written
so.
by him, weren't they?
Yeah, they're all written.
Okay.
I don't know the
Part
third
3.
one. I know the first 2 are. I'll double check.
is listed on Wikipedia as having
Yeah.
a writing credit for sure. So written by Mario Puzo and Francis Ford Coppola.
And
is what it
Francis
says.
Ford Coppola.
Yeah. So who
Yeah.
knows just how much of each of them?
I just don't know what happened to Francis Ford Coppola. It's
He
like,
got
He
bad.
was used to make great movies. Yeah, he got bad, basically. I mean, did you
The
see
director
Twixt?
of Jack.
That was like Jack,
Starring
like,
Robin
he made
Williams.
a bunch of bad movies, like really bad movies.
I rewatched the trailer for
And I
that
don't know
recently.
I don't know
It's
how.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Some people just lose their shit. So many great directors that were like
I
awesome in
guess
the
so.
70s and 80s, they just hit a certain age where they're like, either they stop trying or they get dementia or some shit. There's some directors that like manage to stay great
It's like
throughout their
movie
entire
dementia.
lives.
Because I don't know.
But
I don't know how the guy who made Apocalypse Now and like The Conversation makes Twixt. Like, it's just so bad.
I think it might just be a matter
I
of
don't know
like
what he's
how
seeing.
hard they try too. Like it's if you see something that is like equally ambitious that fails hard, like a Wachowski film or something like that, then it's like, okay, they just don't know what they're doing anymore. But when I see a Francis Ford Coppola movie comparing to his older works, it doesn't seem nearly as ambitious. It just doesn't seem like his heart is there. It doesn't seem like he's trying. It feels like he's like, I made a name for myself. I have this great catalog. Whatever. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he's... And I mean, obviously, the movies that he's created that are great
Maybe
are
his
so
eyesight is bad
incredibly
now.
ambitious that, like, it's hard to even compare. Like, how could you make movies that are as ambitious as like the original Godfather movies and Apocalypse Now? Like, those are some of the most ambitious movies ever made. But still, like it just doesn't seem like he cares as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, not nearly even.
Really banking off that name.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah. And throwing his daughter in the movie for no fucking reason. Do you think he did that knowing she sucks? Like, do you think he was just like,
I honestly can't
whatever.
fathom.
He's like trying
And she's
to
a good
get her
director. She went on to direct some great,
Lost in Translation.
great movies. Lost in Translation, yeah, but she's fucking terrible as an actor.
Yeah,
she's
'Cause
so
what it
bad.
was supposed
she ruins
to
the
be-
movie, basically.
yeah, she's
That character
fucking
was supposed to be
awful.
played by Winona Ryder. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a major character.
Yeah.
But she dropped out to do Edward Scissorhands.
Oh no,
So we're left with
Sophia.
the daughter, who is so bad that most of her dialogue had to be redubbed because she had this like accent
really?
that just really didn't sell.
I noticed there was a lot of dubbing in this movie too. Like, not just her.
Yep.
It was like very noticeable. And I didn't notice that at all in the first two films. And even when we're looking at things like the practical effects, like the gunshot wounds and everything, the gunshot sound effects were fucking awful. They sounded like they were from like GoldenEye or some shit.
Yeah,
like-
it sounded like a video game.
Yeah,
It was like GTA.
Like, when they had that shit down in the first two movies, you'd think you'd just hire the same guy doing like Foley or whatever. You'd think you'd just, like, I don't know, maybe he died, or something. But like, you'd think if you have that down in the first two movies, that would be something that you would have down in the third, right? But no, it's just a lot of what made those two special and impressive is just completely missing from this movie. And you could have told me it was directed by somebody else and I would have believed you. It doesn't really feel the same at all.
It doesn't have that authenticity, that first
Not at all.
It doesn't even have the dark, contrasty lighting, really, which is something the studios hated, and now that it's gone, it's like, I miss it. I miss the look of the Godfather movies. It's not really here anymore in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. I think there's a lot
kinda
of
fucking
good
hate
things
it.
about it. It's not like the worst movie we've ever talked about. It's not like the prequels or something. But it is like not on that level of the first two. It's not even close. It's everything I was fearing the second one would be.
Okay.
Basically. And it wasn't.
And so you've seen part 3 before, right?
I'd seen parts of it before. I never sat
really?
down and watched the entire thing.
Okay.
But I'd seen like the ending. I'd seen all of Sofia Coppola's acting.
Oh, God.
Like,
Yeah,
the shootout
highlights.
scene in the top. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So like
It
she
didn't feel
can't
like the
act
same
for
movie.
shit. When she dies and she's like, Dad,
Dad.
and then just falls over. It's like, oh my God.
And then her love interest cousin is just like, no.
For the first 2 hours, the movie was just like really, really boring. And then the last hour, it just became fucking laughable. It just became a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so absolutely ridiculous and just fucking fell apart in such a monumental way. It was so embarrassing.
Really melodramatic.
Yeah.
The whole love plot with the cousins was ridiculous.
Yeah. What the fuck,
Yeah, the
Francis?
class and style just robbed of it. Yeah,
It's a shame. It's really sad what happened.
it is a shame, but it's also like they had a decision. They could have kept their integrity and not made it and just left this awesome duo of movies, but they had to,
They had to make
go
money,
for the money.
which is fine. It's a capitalist society, but it's like,
Yeah.
why don't you make a good movie?
But it's like, yeah, like you had
have
all
the
that
resources.
time.
You know,
Why not do
tons
it
of people
right?
are going to watch it.
They didn't know
do
how
it
to make
right.
a good movie anymore.
Get someone else to direct it, even. If it's clear
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola doesn't give a shit, have him produce it, and then have someone else write it and
Yeah.
direct it.
I don't know what the fuck
Like,
they're
it's
doing.
just,
Even
it's a mess. And
Al
like, he
Pacino
valued
even
the
had
brand.
huge problems with it. Like he said he didn't believe that his character would do the things that he does in that movie.
Like, go to
And it's like-
confession. Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously.
Could you imagine being Al Pacino acting alongside Sofia Coppola in those scenes? Because that's all I was thinking. It's like, this guy is there in the
It's
same
funny.
shot, and she is delivering her lines. And he's just like, he has to just take it like a champ. You can't just
Yeah.
be like, hey, director,
because
your
she's
daughter
related
fucking
to the director.
sucks. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, what, everybody on set's thinking already.
Right.
Does the
Everyone on set
director
knows
know?
it, but they can't say anything. That's
Yeah.
brutal.
It just seemed like
Yeah.
super awkward.
Yeah. That must be terrible.
Oh, what a mess! I love the end of the movie Well, because like, yeah, again, like really melodramatic, especially with like Al Pacino screaming or whatever, and he does a good job. Like he's doing great with what he has to work with, but then like it literally just cuts to him older. They literally put him in old person makeup just for him to put on sunglasses and slump over in a chair and die. Like, that's what they literally did.
It's hilarious.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
You could have ended the movie before that. I get you that you're trying to be like conclusive and being like, this means that this trilogy was justified. This movie was justified because we show the death of the character. But it's out of nowhere. Like, the movie could have just ended before that. You literally
It's
just
two
did
shots.
a time
it's
jump.
Really bad.
It's to show him in old person makeup, putting on sunglasses and fucking dying. And that's supposed to be this like epic conclusion to this trilogy. She's like, the end. Like, what the fuck? That was so unintentionally comical. It was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I felt the same way about it. Even that moment when the daughter died, it totally didn't work at all. I was kind of cringing. It didn't have that dramatic, tragic
It felt
moment.
very, like horrible.
And then he's screaming. Everyone's going like, no, no. And I'm like, oh, this is so bad.
It's
I was
like the
laughing.
helicopter scene. They're trying to bring it to such a higher level, but removing all subtlety from everything. It's like that's
7
not what
hours of
people
build
want.
up to this moment of everyone screaming, and it's just like, oh my god,
It's like this is
so
what you were
terrible.
building up to. Holy shit!
No, please, no, God.
But on the subject of him dying in that chair at the end, we have a question from the Movie Fan 101 who says, "This is a question pertaining to your Godfather trilogy discussion. Originally, Francis Ford Coppola did not want the title Godfather Part III. He wanted the title to be The Death of Michael Corleone. The studio would not let him. Coppola always viewed the saga not as a trilogy, but as a set of 2 films with an epilogue. Do you think Part 3 would have been better received if it not been given the title of Godfather?"
No, I don't think it changes the quality.
Yeah, I
of the
don't give a
movie
shit. It's
at
still
all.
a bad movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it
title-
doesn't even if it did have the title The Death of Michael Corleone, like it isn't executing on that idea in a satisfying way.
Then no one would have saw it.
Yeah, and they just did the same ending too. Just
Yeah.
nothing was really leading up to it. It's not like a culmination of events. He just fucking died of old age. Broken heart.
Like we said,
some
it's like the
shit,
same plot. They go to the wedding. There's a hit scene in the middle that has no consequence in the story. It ends like in an opera, and a bunch of people are assassinated. It's just like the baptism.
Oh my
scene,
God.
or it's like the same thing.
when the guy was like holding up the other guy's dead body to pretend he was being strangled by him, and then did the surprise stab. That was so funny.
That was really weird.
Yeah. That was so stupid. How do you hold up someone's dead body and pretend you're being strangled by them? He's like, "Oh, good, you got him." My God, that was so funny.
It feels like a robot analyzed the first 2 movies and pinpointed a formula and then applied it with the like same cast.
Yeah.
It's really strange to watch.
Procedurally generated Godfather script.
Yeah. This is the bad DLC that no one bought.
Yeah,
Oh man, it's
it's a shame.
I'm surprised it got nominated for 7 Oscars. It didn't win any, but the fact that the Academy
that
was like,
shows you
well,
how
I mean,
great
it's a
Oscars are.
Godfather movie, so I guess it's probably an Oscar.
Yeah,
movie.
rode off the
of
title
course.
and names.
Yep, really.
I want to see. I want to see if Andy Garcia was nominated. I want to see if Sofia Coppola was nominated.
Oh no.
She won
she
2
wasn't.
Razzies, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Holy
Yeah, I
shit.
think
Best original song.
Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah,
Apparently
because they
there's an
added
original song
lyrics
in
to
this that
the
was
fucking
nominated.
to the main theme
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, because his son sings it, doesn't he?
Even the music in this was like a parody of the Godfather music.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
It's so unintentionally silly and really boring. The only parts of the movie that I enjoyed were just the really funny parts, where it wasn't even trying to be. It was super, super fucking clunky. Obviously, the passion isn't there. It was really cheesy. It just felt like a fucking TV movie. Nothing mattered. I didn't care
It
about
did.
anybody. I didn't care about their relationships.
made,
I
like,
didn't care
20
about what
years
was going
after.
on. It's just fucking stupid.
What would you give it?
3 out of 10.
Okay.
Pretty confident about that.
I think like 4 out of 10. Like I
Okay.
liked some things about it. I still like all the performances. Like they're still really good. Then they're
All the
trying. It's just the
performances?
movie as a whole. Except, Sofia Coppola. I don't know if she was trying or not. She wasn't good.
Yeah, who knows?
But like Andy Garcia, like I thought he was pretty good. And I still thought Al Pacino was good, even though he was overacting. There's a lot about it I can respect it for. It's not like the worst movie ever. It's not the worst thing we've talked about even.
It
but
looked
it's
nice.
not up to that quality.
It wasn't terribly shot.
So it looked okay. Yeah, it looked okay.
There were some nice
I
shots.
still prefer the style of the first two. With that contrast and the orange.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Ralph's rating of 2-star, because I'm torn on this idea that it's serviceable as like a stupid mob movie on its own, but given the context of it being the third in not only a trilogy, but following the Godfather Part 1 and 2 and everything they represent, it kind of makes it extra bad in my mind. I never want to see this movie again. Like, why would I? It's so long, it drags on, and the only thing that I can really get out of it is just the meme of the just when I thought I was out, they put me back in, which is like joked about in The Sopranos, which is like a really funny scene where they like mock it. Yeah, like
That's
I guess
funny.
2 stars, but I mean, like, maybe even lower, honestly. I'll have a think about it and rate it when this episode comes out, because genuinely, like, what is there aside from just the absolute just dedication to the formula, like, where's the artistry beyond just the cash grab nature of it? Like that really bugs me, that side of it, because it's like, okay, yeah, make your money, that's fine, like I have no problem with that, but like earn it.
Yeah.
Well, be worthy of the first two.
Yeah.
Or just not even this bad.
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah,
it's a pretty high bar to set. You don't have to be this fucking terrible. You can at least pretend to be like a little bit faithful towards the ideas that they're communicating in the first two films. It wasn't even that. It was like if somebody different who didn't even like The Godfather made this movie.
Yeah.
I'm taking into account, too, like, I had really high expectations from those first two. And seeing this for the first time in full, maybe that's why I'm, like, so resistant to it. If I watched it maybe in the future, I would like it more.
Imagine if, like, you were a huge fan of Godfather Part 1 and 2, and then what year did this come out? 90-something?
It would be like The Phantom Menace.
1990 comes around, you're like,
equivalent.
oh, they're finally doing it. They're going to round off the trilogy. Like, how would you feel? Like, I really think you would be like, what? Like, that's just so wrong. That feels so fucking off. And in that way, like, I really don't see much merit in it, especially with the, like, just ridiculous places it does go with, especially with the, like, incest thing. Like, that.
Yeah,
like,
what the fuck?
Why?
What the fuck, Francis?
Like, why was that so? Yeah,
Your own
It's
daughter.
really strange. I'm glad they put that in there, because I think without that, like, there's basically nothing to talk about. Like if it was like the
Just all
same,
the
but
moments
it
we
was
laughed at. Yeah.
yeah, if it was Winona Ryder and they took the incest bit out, like, what would there be to even say about it? Oh, it's just the
He
formula,
feels
but
sad
worse.
now. He's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, man, I don't buy it. I don't.
This is basically like giving Adam Wingard the Death Note movie. It's like, so you don't even understand what made the original good. You don't give a shit, clearly.
Except it's the guy who directed the original
that's what's
one.
sad about it.
Yeah.
It's like the same people involved. They're like, oh,
But 20 years later, they're totally different people. He hadn't
Yeah.
made a movie like that
Yeah.
in a long time.
I don't even. Like,
I think Apocalypse Now maybe like fried his brain, because that
Yeah,
movie was
maybe.
a nightmare
Yeah.
for him to direct, even more than this. I gotta respect him for making these really difficult to make movies, but I feel like it
Absolutely,
fucking
yeah.
fried his brain, and then he could never make a movie after that.
I barely associate Al Pacino, young Al Pacino, with old Al Pacino. They seem like completely different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really bugging me in Part 3. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't seem like the same character. It seemed like Al Pacino
It seemed like Al
reluctantly
Pacino.
coming back
He was like
just to
yelling
get his
and-
paycheck.
He was like playing Jimmy Hoffa, he does in The Irishman. It was more like that than it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Corleone, who was very reserved and
'Cause
quiet,
even his
but he took
voice-
it out like he was a brute force. Like, he killed 10 people in that first movie. He was very
Mm-hmm.
scary, but it was all restrained and like looks, method acting like that. And now it's so over the top.
Yeah.
Now he's just fucking yelling at everybody and cursing. It's hysterical.
Yeah. I could watch like a super cut of all the funny scenes from this movie. That would be the only way I watch it again. It's like just a few clips from like the end and a bunch of incest shit and the bad acting from Sophia. If
It's
you could get
so
like a really
long.
good like 10-minute long supercut of all the funny parts, I would totally watch that. Somebody
Yeah.
make a supercut of all the bullshit from this movie and post it on YouTube, and I'll like add it to my favorites or whatever. There's a lot of funny moments. Make sure you include the fake strangle and the surprise stab. Anyway,
It's so long, and it's still not even 3 hours long. It's not as long as the other two.
yeah,
That's the irony. It feels longer.
It had like this insistence that it was epic because it was trying to be really long and have lots of characters, but there was nothing going on like in the story.
They didn't know
So
what
it
to
was
do with
really
them.
boring.
Yeah.
I don't know any new characters they introduced. Like I can't remember any of them.
The incest cousin that isn't.
Yeah, that's the
Mary.
only one.
Oops. All right. I guess we talked about the Godfather movies.
Yeah,
We did
it
it.
was fun.
Question time?
Yeah. Let's do some questions from the Sardonicast subreddit. If you want to leave your own questions for us to answer on the next episode, head over there to the suggestion thread and ask us whatever you like. Let's start with this one then from Elephant646, who says, do you boys have any stories of embarrassing styles you had when you were young? Haircuts, clothes, way you talked, etc.
Of course. I didn't have a sense of style when I was younger.
Yeah, same.
And not at all. Like it's just I don't even know if I really have that much of a sense of style now. I'm just I guess more consistent. My brother had a mullet, so I got a mullet. I was a mullet child. I had a bowl
Mullet
cut at
child.
one point. Throughout like most of junior high, I wore like cargo pants. So like just like shit ton of pockets. It was like fit a fucking calculator in there and shit. Yeah, and then the day I finally started wearing like normal jeans, everybody at school was like, "Adam's wearing jeans." It was really weird. Yeah, I always had cargo pants. 'Cause I was just thinking of like functionality, you know. I didn't think about style.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, I have so many pockets to carry candy in. This makes sense to
Yeah.
me. There's a billion pockets.
Yeah. God, I was the exact same.
Oh, yeah?
Because I remember, like, I did the same thing. I was like always just. I didn't think I owned a pair of jeans because I was like watching some comedy show and like one of the like 50-year-old panelists was mocked by one of the other ones saying, "I bet this guy doesn't even own a single pair of jeans." And I was like, "Wait, I don't own a pair of jeans."
And that was your character arc.
That was my character arc, yeah. I honestly didn't get anything star-related sorted till I was literally like 2021. Like I was hopeless with that kind of stuff, with haircuts and everything. Like I wouldn't even go to hairdressers. I'd just like reset. Like I'd just buzz it down to just like one length all the way. And then I'd just let it grow until it was too far and just reset button.
Mhm.
Nah, that's good. That's the way to do it. It's
Yeah.
more efficient. Hate going to the barbershop. It's just a pain
Well,
in the ass.
Now you don't have to.
I used to hate it until I found a barber I liked.
Yeah, now I don't have to. My eraser head hair, maybe. Although I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that suited you.
Yeah.
Yeah, even now I don't really give too much of a shit about fashion at all. I'll just, I like darker colors. I like, I'll wear jeans or whatever. But I don't do anything in terms of like trying to do something fashionable. Like every shirt I wear is something that I'm like supporting something that I like or wearing the logo of something that I like. It'll be from a film festival or a movie or a band or just something that somebody gave to me or like from a convention or something. That's pretty much all the shirts I wear. And then, working from home, it's just like, I don't know, fucking pajama pants and sweatpants. Like,
Yeah, whatever's practical.
if I go outside, I'll put on some jeans and that's about it.
Depends where you are, too. When I'm in LA, I try to dress like brighter colors. I wear shirts with like pineapples on them. Or whatever. And in New York, I just wear like gray jackets.
You gotta
It's
fit with
funny.
the tone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like change how you look.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about fashion.
How about this one then? It's another not movie related one, but it's such a weird question. I have to ask it. Sardonicast says, I don't know why it's directed at Adam, because we can all answer this, but the
Sure.
question is for Adam because he's also Canadian and might have some strange encounters with Canadian geese. Have you ever gotten so close to a mother goose and her eggs that another goose hissed at you and then eventually expanded its wings and flew over to you, causing you to run away only for that goose to chase you in the air? This happened to me a couple weeks ago while I was loading the car outside my university residence building.
It's not
That's
happened to
pretty
me personally, but there's a shit ton of geese in Canada, that's for sure. Just in like certain areas, you might have to watch out for goose poop if you're walking in the grass or whatever. Yeah, they're kind of annoying.
They're
but
aggro animals.
oh yeah, like when they're doing their egg thing.
You don't mess with a goose.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are
That's
a
why
lot
the
of
game's
geese in
so
New
good.
York. I don't mess with them at all. You don't want to mess with them because they're violent. They're like that. Yeah, they'll flap your
They're
wings
violent.
around and scream at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with them.
Steal your keys, throw a rake in the lake.
They'll shit on your car.
Do you guys have swans?
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure. Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in Canada.
'Cause
There's
I
a swan
find-
somewhere in New York.
I find swans even scarier because they're a
Really?
bit bigger than geese. Yeah, because I think they're a bit bigger, right?
Are they as
And they're-
violent? I don't know about that.
Well, there was
Like-
there was always this one swan down when I lived in a different place where I'd walk my dog. It was just like this lone swan that would just wait there, and just anyone that would go by it would just like hiss and do all that, and like you can see its little legs paddling towards you, just to have a go at you.
Mhm.
They're just like
Yeah.
dicks, the dicks
Yeah.
of the animal kingdom.
Yeah, there's it was pretty intimidating coming across a moose. Got to tell you, it's like that.
Oh,
that
really?
can
Moose?
fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're huge.
Have you
I don't wanna
ever
mess with them.
you probably have to worry about that when you're like driving anywhere rural, right?
Yeah, I
Like a
guess it
huge
depends
moose
where. Like
coming out.
usually there's like signs or whatever for like moose, deer, whatever. Depends on the part of Canada, but yeah, there's
They're
there's
bloody
like a bunch
huge, aren't
of
they?
wildlife. Yeah, they're gigantic. They're super huge and very intimidating and scary. You do not want to mess with
Yeah.
them.
What are their temperaments like though? Will they?
I
Will
don't
they
know.
go
I
for
guess
you?
it probably depends on like mating season or something. Usually they don't like
Or if they're
come
young,
too
yeah.
close to people. They're like kind of doing their own thing. When I ran into one, I was basically like my parents had a cabin like out away from the city or whatever. So I was like walking around and then like a moose basically just comes out of the lake like fucking Terminator and just starts like
Wow.
rummaging through like other people's campsites. I'm like, I'll keep my distance sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's depends on where in Canada. In Edmonton, there's like a lot of bunnies. They're like basically a pest.
Oh yeah.
There's a shit ton of bunnies.
Yeah, yeah.
Vancouver, there's like skunks. A lot of raccoons in Vancouver too.
What's the biggest predator you've got in the woods over there?
Kevin Spacey. Oh, I don't know. Like I've never seen like a bear up close or anything. That would probably freak me out.
Bears are the animals I fear most. I don't think I could ever go into a woods or forest if I knew there was even a possibility of a bear being in there. Because it's like the biggest like predatorial mammal here. It's like what, a badger, fox. They ain't scary.
Mushroom.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't live in like Australia. Their wildlife seems to want to kill everybody. It's like where all the shark attacks
Yeah,
happen
it's
too.
terrifying.
Seems
There's,
really
like-
dangerous there.
Yeah. There's like this tiny little
Yeah.
kind of like a jellyfish thing where it's like it can sting you without you even noticing, and it'll paralyze you and make you like literally unable to breathe, and your only chance
Yeah.
if somebody like notices what's happening and knows what to do, like they have to assist your breathing and literally like breathe into your mouth until like paramedics arrive and they can like there's some crazy shit out there.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was last in Australia, I was at like my auntie and uncle's, and my auntie took me outside and was like, "Look down the side of the house," and it was like just a fucking black widow just there, just chilling. It's
Oh
like
my
this
God.
place is horrifying.
Yeah.
That thing could kill you.
In Canada, I don't know. I guess it depends where you live. There's you can look this up on YouTube, but there's like this town in Canada where they actually have like a polar bear patrol, where they actually have like a dedicated part of their town to make sure that polar bears don't eat people. because like depending on the time of year, they'll have to, like they might wander in from like further up north, and so they have this team where they'll literally like tranquilize it and then airlift it out with a helicopter and like fly it further back up north, because if there's like a lack of food or whatever, they might come like wandering into town and just like prowl the streets, and you don't want to mess with a fucking polar bear.
They're the most dangerous bear, aren't they? Like, you're not going to survive an encounter with one of those guys.
Oh yeah, it's Churchill, Manitoba. That's what it is. Yeah, they'll fuck you up. They don't give a shit.
Well, that was the tangent of the century. Let's do this one from Ready Seth Action, who says, "Hey y'all, how would you say you rate documentaries compared to any fictional piece of film? I find it sometimes hard to rate a documentary since it is so fact-heavy and usually structured different to a regular movie."
Yeah, that's true. Depends on the documentary, too. If it's because there's documentaries that are like history documentaries or about an event. And then there's some documentaries like American Movie that are about like a couple guys. Like, it's more of a narrative, like following people. Like American Movie is kind of structured like a movie, kind of. Like a narrative fiction, I mean.
It depends what the overall experience of the film is and what its goals are. So the higher rated documentaries, in my opinion, one that's likely to make my best of the year list, are going to be documentaries that it's not just like, oh yeah, I agree with the narrative presented here. It's going to be something that goes out of its way to be like really well shot and creative and well presented, well edited, cinematic in a way.
Yeah, there's a lot of qualities that carry over.
Yeah, exactly. You can have a documentary that presents its information in a way that you agree with or that, you know, is intelligent. But I think that with documentary being, you know, it's still a film, it's still an art form, you can still do things to the presentation of the documentary to make it more of a cinematic experience. And that's not even necessarily editing, you know, that's all aspects of the film, really. It can look really cheap or not. Yeah.
Yeah. How like unique the subject is. Like there's a bunch of documentaries about the Fire Festival. It's not like as original or enjoyable as like a documentary like Tickled that's just made about one thing. It's the only movie about that.
Yeah, it really depends on what it's going for. There's a British documentary called 63 Up. Have you ever heard of the Up series, Alex? By Michael Apted? Oh my god, you got to watch it. They basically it's like a movie every 7 years, and the director has been going on this project since like the 60s. And basically he found just a bunch of different 7-year-old kids from varying backgrounds and just basically interviewed them. And then 7 years later, they're 14 and then interviews them again. 7 years later, they're 21, interviews them again. And then when you see the most recent film, like there's a bunch of them, they're all pretty interesting and fascinating. The newest one, it's called 63 Up. It's like a I think it was for the BBC, so it's like very much a presentation of like a TV documentary, but with everything going into it and everything it's saying, like the emotions of the film, like it all comes together really, really well into this incredibly unique cinematic experience that is unlike anything, really. Would highly recommend
really
that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours long, but
I haven't seen the new
really
one.
good. You don't even have to watch the old ones to jump in. Like you could start with 63 Up, and they show a bunch of clips and footage from the previous movies to like tie into what they're currently saying and where they are in their lives and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a really great documentary in my opinion.
The technology too now to make documentaries, it's way easier to make them now than it was back then because the cameras were just really large, like in the 70s and 60s. Like to bring all that equipment with you and change the film, it was really rough. And now it's like you could bring these really small portable cameras with you. You could be way more like a journalistic approach and have hidden cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen documentaries do that.
Like The Cove was really cinematic in that sort of sense. Like it felt like kind of a heist movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like the documentary being made, it's not supposed to be made. Yeah, that had an interesting thing.
What about like the Blue Planet and stuff like that?
Oh, love it.
Like epic, you know.
Yeah, documentary series.
The BBC Symphony Orchestra adds so much to those. Like the music is such an important part of those documentaries, and obviously the filmmaking too. Like there's a lot of impressive stuff going on there, but like that would be a great example of like a really cinematic documentary.
It's epic filmmaking, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never really thought about it. It's a good question, actually.
Yeah. the Netflix like documentary series. I think some of them feel padded out, like the cats one, the Don't Fuck with Cats. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, it's like a serial killer of cats posted online. Like it was good, but they tried to make it a series. They like made it a few episodes long. It was really padded out. Yeah. It could have just been like a 90-minute documentary, but they insist on making these series for some reason.
Well, I mean, like they didn't even get to the part where he tried to murder Rebel Wilson and Jason Derulo.
And that's the guy, fat guy, James Corden.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Cats.
Cats. The butthole cut.
Release the butthole cut.
They don't need to release it, but God, I heard about how much of a dick Tom Hooper was on set.
Yeah, apparently.
Or like to the VFX people, I mean.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
he was
blown
just,
away.
Like, ridiculous demands, like 4 months they had to do all the effects. At some point they added buttholes in and no one knew where it came from and they had to digitize all of them out. It's like ridiculous. Like he clearly had no understanding of like visual effects or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That always spells a disaster when you have crazy demands from someone that doesn't even understand like what the actual process is.
Yeah, what he's doing.
Like you might as well just be like a studio head making those demands to a director.
Oscar-winning director.
Yeah. Give it back.
And other news too. Did you see the Ezra Miller thing? Like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, where he hit someone, didn't he? I watched the clip
he like
and I was
strangled
like,
a fan. If that's real, like what a fucking
Did you watch the clip?
That guy. Yeah, I did.
Because
like from how it looks like he just strangled a fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
it could
not
be
quick
fake,
to,
but I don't know.
Jump on it because like from what I saw, like they both seemed like drunk and laughing, and he might have just been like, like play fighting or something. Like I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I'm not leaning one way or the other. I'm just obviously saying
like, there's a bit of context missing because it does just cut off and there's no expansion on what happened there.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, they both looked very drunk, and I don't know if they were being serious or whatever, or if he was just like misinterpreting a level of, I guess, playfulness. Like I don't know what happened.
Yeah. It is a weird jump though, to be sure.
Yeah,
it's very strange. Okay, let's do this cute one from Alistair_13 who says, "What are your guys' favorite movie MacGuffins? Give us a MacGuffin you like."
The fuck's a MacGuffin?
It's a hard one. You want me to look up like the Wikipedia?
You joking? Like R2D2, he's a MacGuffin.
A MacGuffin,
like a plot device, like
object,
the ring
or event that is necessary to the plot and to the motivation of the characters.
Yeah, like the ring from Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't hear that word used often.
Has some deeper meaning to it.
Or like the child in Children of Men, like that.
Okay,
be a MacGuffin.
That's true. The child. Yeah, I guess that counts.
All right, you guys go first. I'll think about this.
I like the sled, or you could say the sled from Citizen Kane.
Oh,
that's a good one. It's a good twist. What a twist!
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I do quite like R2D2. He's cute.
Yeah, R2D2 is a good one. The glowing briefcase from Pulp Fiction. I think that's
that's a good one for sure.
And people always speculate what it is, and I like how that's kept vague.
The Goober in Spider-Verse is a little self-referential one.
Oh yeah. That's true. I like that one. They do that, the Phil Lord and Chris Miller with all their movies. Like Lego Movie had the Craggle, which is like the glue.
That's right, yeah. They've actually got some good ones.
They like doing that self-referential MacGuffin.
Yeah, the Craggle.
What was
Craggle's a really good one.
It was in Burn After Reading. There was like a script or something.
Oh,
that was like interpreted as being real, but it was just someone trying to... trying to.
It was like his memoirs.
Oh yeah,
it was his memoirs. That was
that's what it was.
That movie's so funny.
Yeah, the Book of the Dead in Evil Dead.
The Book of Eli. Remember that? It was the Bible.
Oh God.
Yeah, I never saw that
was
one.
MacGuffin. Yeah, it was a piece of crap. Don't bother. It just came to my mind.
I don't know. I don't usually think of movies in that way. It's not a question I ask.
I think those are the most iconic ones. Like the ones we said.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Does Turnt have a MacGuffin? Like, I bet there's some movies like that have a MacGuffin. I just don't remember them because they're so boring. Yeah, maybe Godfather 3 had a MacGuffin.
MacGuffin's such a weird word.
Yeah, I don't know the history of where that came from.
It sounds like a British thing.
It does, yeah, it does. Oh, what about like the carpet from Big Lebowski? Is that a MacGuffin?
The what? The carpet?
Yeah. It's kind of what starts the whole story in motion.
Yeah. The piano from Punch Drunk Love, like that
Oh, yeah.
harpsichord thing he had. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to do one more?
We can do one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do one more.
Let's do this one then from GGG375, who says, what genre would you explore if you had the ability to make a feature film?
Everyone has the ability.
Mm-hmm.
If it was
Horror.
handed to you on a silver platter, horror,
so
yeah?
on a silver platter. Probably, you know what, the hardest kind of movie to pull off is like a epic science fiction movie. So if it was, like the resources were handed to me on a platter, I'd probably do either like a science fiction or war movie. Like something really hard to do. Like that.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, my heart is in drama as like a genre. I think that I would love to tackle a musical, make like a musical feature film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
That'd be cool.
yeah, if like, I don't know, because I look at films like Once. Like that's a movie where like the music is really, really, really great and it carries the whole movie forward basically. So if I'm trying to think like if I were to take the plunge into directing like a first feature, if let's say, you know, my album's released and it's well received and people consider it to be like a professional quality sort of thing, then that's already one aspect where I would have that amount of confidence would be like the music. So that would be taken care of pretty much already. And then the filmmaking after that point, although, yeah, it's important to know what you're doing when it comes to the filmmaking, you could also use that as like an opportunity to kind of like learn as you're going. Because like everybody's first feature isn't going to be like a masterpiece or anything anyway. So if the film is offering something like... I mean, okay, well, all right. But anyway, like if the film is offering something more than just the filmmaking aspects, you know, then if let's say there's some like noticeable budgetary constraints when it comes down to the actual filmmaking or just a lack of experience there, at least there would be some other element to the film that would hold it up, and it's not just trying to offer one particular, I guess, creative aspect.
Fair enough. I guess for me, I don't know. I love animation, so I'd love to have the capacity to, because that's half the battle, isn't it? Just getting anything like that made,
yeah,
not being for little kids. That's what's so cool about things like Anomalisa and you know, taking the kind of adult story and applying it. Calling it animation like a genre is I don't know about that, but it's more of like a tool, a presentation.
Kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it is a huge investment and talent pool is required to pull off something like that. Unless,
we all wish we had just $50 million in a bin that we could spend on
exactly.
a movie.
Yeah. If I had all the resources to make like a legit animated feature film, I would love to do that. I agree with you there. Like when I gave my answer, I was thinking like really practically of like, you know, what would be a logical step towards making something.
Like, that's how I was thinking. Like
current.
logically, I would do a horror movie like that. You could do on a no budget.
Yeah.
For like a science fiction or a musical like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You need a lot, and you need to negotiate with a lot of different people. And by the time it gets to the movie, when it's done, like it's a totally different thing because there's been so many voices and things attached to it. That's not, you know, your original vision.
If I was fucking Elon Musk, then I would make an animated feature.
Yeah.
I just had those resources. If I divorced Jeff Bezos, then I would make an animated feature.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had that kind of money. Because then making movies would be nothing.
Yeah, and it's just like if you don't have to worry about the return or investment, you know, it's just like if you just have a fuck ton of money and you want to express yourself creatively and you have ultimate control over everything, and you know, if something doesn't turn out well, you can do reshoots, you can throw more money at it, something like that. Unlimited resources. I would love to make a really great animated movie. I would love to make something like that. That would be up there for sure.
Yeah, that would be my answer. Yeah,
because that's like the creativity involved in that. Like you don't have as much holding you down. The world of animation is so expressive. You can do whatever you want. You can communicate whatever you want. When you're filming something in live action, like to an extent, you have to think of things a bit more practically. Whereas like animation, it's just like any idea you have.
Of course,
you can
Yeah.
express that. So yeah, I agree with you, Alex. Animation would be for sure up there for me.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we did questions.
I think we got it.
We did it.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a movie recommendation, and it should be my turn, but I'm going to swap with Ralph because we're having a guest on next episode that he invited.
Guest.
So
Elvis the Alien is going to come on, and we're going to discuss a movie I recommended. Ooh, yeah. Called, it's a pretty recent movie called Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, cool.
So
Nice.
that'll be the movie we discuss next time.
Okay, great.
Epic.
Awesome. What planet is Elvis the Alien from?
Not sure.
Oh.
Planet 420, I think.
Oh, geez. Dank. Planet COVID-19. All right. Thank you all for listening, everybody. If you want to support the show, go to Sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. $2 a month. You'll get these episodes early as they're edited. Same thing with patreon.com/Sardonicast. Also, we have merch. Link in the descriptions. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks. If you don't want to be spoiled for Ex Machina, Alex Garland, then watch that before the next episode's out, because we're going to have a spoiler discussion. All right. Cent'anni.
All right.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Feel better, Alex. Bye.
Arrivederci. Yeah.